When we're trying to find a better way to live, we're always looking for the newest thing, right? The latest app, a new life hack. But what if the best tool for dealing with our crazy modern lives was actually like 2,000 years old? Well, that's what we're going to dig into today. An ancient operating system for a very chaotic world.
Does any of this sound familiar? You're feeling constantly overwhelmed, just reacting to everything that comes your way, getting pulled in a million different directions by things that feel totally outside of your control. It's almost like you're a puppet and someone else is pulling the strings. That feeling is super common, but here's the thing, it doesn't have to be a reality.
And the ideas we're going to be exploring here, they come straight from this book, The Daily Stoic. It's fantastic because it takes this ancient wisdom and makes it a real practical tool you can use every single day. So what is this ancient tool? It's called Stoicism. And I know what you might be thinking. Philosophy. Sounds kind of boring and dusty. But hang on. I want you to reframe that. Think of it less like a philosophy and more like a personal operating system. One that's designed to help you thrive in really high-stress situations. Okay, first things first, let's get the biggest myth out of the way. When we hear the word Stoic today, we usually picture someone who's totally emotionless, bottling everything up. But that's a complete misunderstanding of what this is all about. This is actually a super vibrant, action-packed way of living. What if I told you that Stoicism wasn't for statues, but for people who were right in the middle of the action? We're talking about people who dealt with immense pressure, with chaos, with huge responsibilities, and they used this philosophy as their secret weapon. And this is what's so wild. Just look at this list. It's not just a bunch of ancient guys in togas. You've got emperors and presidents, sure, but you also have Super Bowl winning coaches and LL Cool J. What on earth could a Roman emperor, a prisoner of war like James Stockdale, and a hip-hop icon possibly have in common? Well, they all use these exact same principles to get through some incredibly tough times. So what's the big idea here? It really boils down to this. The Stoics believe that real happiness comes from virtue, from having an excellent character. But here's the crucial part. They said it's not the stuff that happens to us that causes problems. It's our perception of that stuff. It's the story we tell ourselves about it. And that is such a game changer because it means the power to fix our problems is always right here, with us. All right, this brings us to what is maybe the single most practical, life-changing idea in all of Stoicism. I like to call it the circle of control. Seriously, if you just get this one concept, it can change everything for you. So, according to the Stoics, there's one practice that's more important than all the others. It's the foundation for everything, for peace, for courage, for freedom. And here it is. It's that simple. The most important thing you can do is learn to separate what you can change from what you can't. That's it. Think about it. So much of our stress and frustration comes from wasting energy on things that were never in our control to begin with. Epictetus, who was a former slave who became this legendary Stoic teacher, he just nails it here. This isn't about giving up. It's about being smart with your energy. It's about figuring out, okay, what's in my court and what isn't. Because all the good and all the bad, it's found in your own choices, not in the outside world. This chart just breaks it down perfectly. Look at the left side. The weather, what other people think of you, your reputation, even your own body to a degree. We don't have final say over that stuff. But that right column, that's our kingdom. Our opinions, our choices, what we decide to want or not want, that's where all our power is. The Stoics had a name for this power. They called it reasoned choice. It's that moment between something happening and you reacting. It's your ability to pause, use your brain, and choose how you're going to respond. That right there is your superpower. It's the one thing nobody can ever take away from you. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do it? How do we make this a habit instead of just a cool idea? Well, the Stoics were basically the pioneers of the daily ritual. Epictetus gives us this simple but really powerful morning routine. First, you just ask yourself what you really need to feel calm. Second, you remind yourself that you're not your stuff or your job title. Third, you affirm who you really are, a rational being, and ask yourself what that requires of you. And last, you just quickly review your actions from yesterday. It sounds like a lot, but this whole thing can take just a couple of minutes, and it totally sets the tone for your day. And that's the framework. Prepare in the morning, reflect in the evening. It's like you're bookending your day with intention. You're constantly training your mind, checking in on your progress, and making sure you're on the right track.
So I'm going to leave you with that very first question from the ritual. And just so you know, when the Stoics said passion, they meant those reactive, irrational emotions that pull us around. So ask yourself today, what am I lacking to be free from those things? What's really standing in the way of my own tranquility? Just answering that question might be the most important first step you take.